Welcome to the Pool Nation podcast, where it's all pool talk. And we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. We talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. Now let's welcome your host, with over a decade of industry insider experience and still the reigning champion of Marco Polo, Edgar De Jesus, and his co-host, John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and Zach the Pool Boy Nicholas.
Welcome, everyone, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. I am your host, Edgar De Jesus, and yes, I am the reigning champion of Marco Polo, along with John J.J. Flawless, the fastest netter in the West, and the famous Zach, the Pool Boy Nicholas. Today, we share our stories and experiences from the Western Pool and Spa Show, and we can't wait to get started. I want to welcome everyone to our live podcast, the podcast where it's all pool talk, and we ain't talking about netting and jetting or splashing and dashing. We're talking about becoming a nation of pool pros. And yes, we will talk about the latest products, trends, and training in the pool industry. But before we get started today, I want to thank our sponsors for this podcast, the SPPA, Ultimate Pool Tools, Pool Invoice, Blueray, AquaStar Pool Products, Natural Chemistry, Raypak, and our friends at Heritage Pool Supply. We want to thank them for their continued support. Mr. Zacharias, what's going on? Good morning.
Just want to congratulate you because you did it. You accomplished it.
Nothing but power, baby. Nothing but power today.
For those of you that don't know, I'm very pre-planned and thoughtful, and Edgar has been slowly weaning me off of that. And today you're going to get Zach the Pool Boy unscripted. So we're going to see how this goes because I have absolutely no notes.
Ooh, and this is definitely raw, unedited, right? Unprepared. We're just ready to roll today.
Every week, it's like the notes came in closer and closer and closer today. I think it was like, 7 minutes before?
I think you said you wanted to be like John a little bit more. You're like, John, I really like how you're off the cuff, and I want to be able to do that. And so I took that as, Edgar, I need your help, and I need you to wean me off. So that's what the plan has been, right, John?
Here's the irony of it all. Today, I actually don't feel like talking much, and I have a headache, and I'm not going to be my usual talkative self. So I'm going to be heavily relying on Zach to talk today.
It's part of the strategy.
Yeah, I think it all worked out for a reason here. So this is going to be quite the show, I'm sure.
It's like 20-minute show, bunch of one-liners from Zach, and then we're out.
Zach is like, slow down the words when I talk.
How'd you like the Western? Good? That's all you got? Yep, it was good. That's it.
Let me punt. Good.
So, hey, John, before I jump in and I ask you how you're doing today, I do want to give a big, huge shout out today to our boy, Zach. It was his birthday yesterday. So, Mr. Zacharias, happy birthday. We're already getting people on the chat over here. Benny saying happy late birthday, Zachy Boo.
Thank you.
Jeanette, Maria, big, huge shout out to everybody out there. And Zach, happy birthday.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. I'm deciding not to celebrate those anymore after this year.
Yeah.
You've reached that point now?
Yeah, I reached it this year, but Edgar spoiled it.
I stopped about a decade ago.
Dude, you're like 30 years old. John, he's like 30 years old.
He is. He just turned 30-ish, like right at the beginning.
Yeah. Sheesh. Can't even say he's close to 40.
What did we say when we talked on the phone yesterday? We're like, God, I remember those days, right? I wish I was in my 30s. But, oh, man, happy birthday, my friend. And look, and not only that, but yesterday was a transformation for you because I don't think anybody noticed, or was it just me? And Edgar, I was surprised you didn't say anything and I left it there. But did you see my new Instagram posting skills yesterday? No?
I didn't.
You didn't?
What did you do?
No. Apparently, Zach, because he's grown up now, he's Zach the Pool. Not the pool boy, but Zach the Pool. Did you see that?
Zach the Pool?
No.
Yeah. When you said the happy birthday post, go look at it. It says Zach the Pool.
I'm looking at it. I'm going there right now.
And when I reposted it, I edited it and I put boy underneath. I was like, oh, that's fancy of me that I figured that out. It took me like 10 minutes to figure out how to do it because every time I added the text, it disappeared and I didn't know what the hell was going on. But I updated it, but nobody reshared mine. Everybody reshared Zach the Pool. So I don't know if it was like an inside joke or something that I missed, but Zach is no longer the pool boy. It's Zach the Pool. Look, do you see it?
I'm looking it up right now. So on your stories,
I think
Zach
so.
the Pool.
Zach the Pool. Did you see it now? I'm like, what the hell's going on here, dude?
Am I going to get fired now?
Yeah, it just goes to show how we aimlessly just repost anything we send, right? You know what I mean? I got to be more careful because if God forbid you do something about me on there, right? Who knows what you're going to put? But Zach the Pool.
Shoot. That is
that was
hilarious.
Pretty funny. Do you see it?
Yeah.
Oh, I totally see it. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Totally caught it.
Zach the Pool.
But see, nobody else caught it but John, and he didn't even say anything about it.
And he edited it. I think he's ready to edit the episodes and the videos.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. And I was like super proud.
You're moving up, bro.
Yeah, man, I am. Look,
I like your
I leveled
style.
up. I leveled up.
Oh,
so.
you totally leveled up. So how you doing to this morning, John?
I'm feeling a little better now that we're talking, but a little slow this morning. My body hurts. I don't know. We were talking about getting old earlier. And I think the adrenaline from the show, right, and all is finally caught up to me. Because the day after the show, maybe I was still riding that high and I was still doing well, but it feels like it all came crashing down this morning.
Is it the night that you went to bed at like 8:30 and woke up the next morning at 9?
I did.
Zach, he's like, I wasn't tired. I just slept from like 8 to, which if anybody that knows John, if John goes to bed at 9 o'clock, either we're at the end of the world or something's completely wrong with him. It's that extreme.
I'm up at midnight, 1 o'clock every morning and every night just because my head races. And I use that time to work on life and business and to think of things.
And that's the time that he sends me like memes and TikTok. Just to let you know, Zach, don't let him fool you. He's in this business strategy. And trust me, people, you do not want to see John's feed. It's a wicked feed. One day it's on one thing. The next day it's on chickens. The next day it's like all over the place. One day it'll be inspirational. It's hilarious. It's one of those, John, where it comes by. And when I get a notification from you, it feels like to me like I'm in Vegas and I'm pulling a slot and you don't know what it's going to land on. You just have no idea.
But you know you need to make sure, you need to know your audience and need to cover what's on the screen. Make sure that it's just you. Nobody else can see because who knows what the hell is going to pop up.
Absolutely. Because God forbid what comes up and my wife jumps up in bed and goes, what the hell are you looking at? But you know what? It keeps us on edge, John. It keeps us on edge. And of course, it doesn't matter where I'm at. If I get something, I got to go find an escape to go look at it. I can't go, I'll wait like 30 minutes till I'm done to look at it. I'm like, lowering the volume, turning sideways on my phone, lowering down, looking, going.
What's going on here? And for those of you listening, let your imaginations run wild, but it's nothing crazy, but it's just odd, bizarre things that maybe I need interesting things to pique my interest and to keep my attention. So I think TikTok and Instagram has figured that out and they've unlocked the key to my attention and they figured out ways to keep me scrolling. I'm like, Jesus, man, what the hell is all this? Yeah, it's crazy. I can't even say it on the podcast. But
China figured out, John. How
yeah. Oh, they did, dude. They're in my brain, dude. They're like, whoa. They're the ones that
we got John figured out. We're good. Let's go to the rest of the world.
Yeah, they cracked the code. Wow. And I'm sending stuff to my daughter too. I'm sending to Janie. And it's just like, holy crap. And it's just bizarre. Other than that, I'm doing well. Looking forward to recapping the show because what a hell of a time we had, right? I think all three of us were like, wow, this is pretty awesome. And the feedback we've gotten from everybody was this was the best Western show they've been a part of. And I think everybody just knocked it out the park. Everybody from Eric, Stan, all the volunteers, everybody that's involved, all the instructors, all the manufacturers and vendors that were there that put on education, everybody who attended for education. We broke records and numbers. It was an all-around home run. It was pretty cool. And no drama.
I do want to give a shout out over here to Mr. Steve Barnes. Good morning out there to you, Todd. Good morning to you as well. And David, good morning out there. David is saying, thanks for giving me an excuse to delay getting to my route for just a little bit longer. That makes you shout out to you, David. Yeah. Appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome, brother.
Anyways, before we jump on here, I wanted to talk really quick about the Pullman University. Now we do have housekeeping notes, right? And I'm going to sound like a broken record commercial here. Alyssa Serrano, good morning. I met your husband was out there. And Alyssa, let me tell you a quick little story before I talk about the app. I'm walking down and I bump into Alyssa's husband. And I'm like, of course, me typical being really loud in the middle of the hallway. So everybody was lining up to go down to the classes. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? And I'm saying hi to him. And then I go down to the class. And in there, I get a message from Chris Melee. And he's, oh, thanks for saying hi to your friends and ignoring me on the other side. I didn't see that he was on the other side, but he didn't say anything, right? So Chris is burning me. So I'm like, oh, you want to play that game, Chris? Okay. So I turned around and came back up and I stood in the middle of the hall and I started yelling, Chris, pool guy of the year. Yeah. And he was just like, oh my God, right? Like, what have I done? So, of course, everybody in the hallway starts turning and looking and looks over and all that. And I go, is that better, Chris? All right. Give him a high five. And I take off walking down. I think Chris will think about that one next time. But anyways, Alyssa, good morning. We really missed you out there. I know that you had to keep the fort running and the kids and the business and all that. We are having the Women's Summit, and I believe that you're going. So looking forward to connecting with you out there. All right. So everybody listening, download the Poolman University app. It's the app that we created. We have the 10 classes. We actually have 12 courses on there that were taught at the Western Pool and Spa Show by the instructors that joined us to create those. So what you could do is go to either the Google or the Apple Store and download the Poolman University app. You'll be able to register. You'll be able to see the courses that we taught there in Long Beach. And then, of course, there's some quizzes that you could take. There's a leaderboard. There's a submit questions on there that you can submit questions to reach us, and we'll talk about those. And then the other thing is for those of you that buy from any of the Heritage Pool Supply Group and PEP and Texas Pool Supply and all their different stores, they do have a loyalty program now where you earn credit back into your account for every single purchase. So it doesn't matter what you buy, you earn a credit. And then they have Pool Tech products where you get added credit to your account. And the beauty of it is once those points become available, let's say that you have $200 worth of points, you go to check out, they'll ask you right then and there, hey, you have $200 credit. Do you want to use that now? So you could use it, you could save it up. You can go into the app, into that button, click that button and submit. And what they will do is they will sign you up for the program. It started in the West, I think California, Arizona. I think it started in that area first. And then June 1st, it'll roll out for the rest of the US. And what we tell everybody, especially when we start talking about money, we start talking about profit. That's free money that they're giving you. So definitely get on there, submit, and register for that program. Gentlemen, I think we need to start talking about some of these instructors here that we partnered with at the Western Show. I know that Steve is on here. We need to give him a huge shout out because he absolutely crushed it.
Knocked it out the park, right?
Steve, you just completely knocked it out of the park. And by the way, John, he threw me under the bus too in one of those slides that you guys were going to do a presentation.
I heard all about it.
I have a video.
Steve comes to me and he goes, oh, hey, I'm going to have you talk about what I talked about with John. And I'm like, completely clueless. I have no idea whatsoever. And then I go up to him and I go, don't make me talk because I have no idea what you guys are talking about, man. And he's like, you throw everybody in the bus. It's okay. You're going under the bus. And then he just continued and threw me under the bus right there in front of everybody at the class. So thank you for that, Steve. But I heard it turned out well. I appreciate it. No, it went well and it was good. To me, it was like, I know that there was a message that you guys wanted to deliver with regards to.
I was in Todd because we had that extra class that the Western asked us to do because somebody didn't show up. And we had that extra filtration class. So I had to step out and go over there. It was a little bit unplanned, but I heard that you guys made it work. And Edgar, you did an amazing job up there pretending to talk about what I talked about the day before.
They wanted me to be you, John. It's like, I can't be John.
You nailed it. Look, Steve and I talk about amazing. If there's anybody in the world that can make teaching hydraulics sexy, it's Steve, dude. And it's usually one of those courses that kind of goes over a lot of people's heads. And even I'm sitting there listening and to some of the things that Steve's talking about. And it's just like, dude, I need full attention because we're talking about some serious stuff here. You've seen that meme where somebody starts talking about calculations and you see all these numbers flying up through your head, right? And you feel like you're back in school doing calculus or geometry or something. But Steve being able to deliver that message and have fun while doing it and have so many people engage with it was quite the sight. And I was thoroughly impressed, and I had nothing but great feedback from it. And we knew it was great because he taught the basic hydraulics, and then we came back and we did intermediate hydraulics, and the people that were at the basics came back for the intermediate, and there was more people that came there for the tougher course. So we had nothing but raving reviews for it. And I don't think anybody else could have put on that presentation better than Steve himself. And I think we were just blessed all the way across. And I know I'm taking the spotlight here of just the partners that we've had as far as our instructors and them being experts in what they're teaching. It's not like we just picked people in the industry to start teaching courses. People are talking about the things that they're passionate about, that they're most known about, and that they're most educated on. And it shows how the passion and the love that they have for the industry and what they're talking about in every one of the courses that we taught. It was pretty cool. Even Laurel with the SPPA, usually insurance stuff and that kind of stuff is a little bit dry. Most people will take it that way, but it was a very engaging conversation and people were truly interested in it. And I think we opened up the eyes of a lot of people when they realized, hey, how important it is having insurance. And that's the type of topics that most pool guys or pool girls aren't really there to talk about or uncomfortable talking about. But
yeah, and that class was really not just about, insurance, but really if you're going to go out to buy insurance, what are the key things that you need to look at, which is what we don't do, right? We don't know. And it's just like home or auto. You get into it and it's a deductible for this and collision and non-insured and payout for this and payout for that. So I think it was a great class because even I was sitting there going, oh, shoot, there's exclusions, right? There's things that are not covered, things that are going back in. Sorry, Zach, I know you wanted to say something and I jumped in.
Yes. I'm just kidding. No,
let's mute him now. Okay, good.
I learned so much through all the classes. And you know me, I'm constantly thinking, planning, how can we evolve? How can we be better? And I walked away from the show just like, I need to blow it all up. I need to just blow it all up and build it back up because in a lot of it, I've talked about this before, it's all timing and situational based on events that you've gone through or things that you've experienced. You may not understand something at this moment, but as you progress and you grow, you have different experiences and then you take a training again and all of a sudden it starts to make more sense. But in Steve's class, I was just like, holy crap, like I've got a lot to work on. And I've been back at the drawing board since I've gotten back, just planning things out. We're going to change how we check out pools, how we start up pools, different things like that. And I think the guys are all excited. They're like, what's going on around here? Because I'm just pen and paper, computer crunching.
And look, and to talk a little bit more about it, why I think one of the reasons why we wanted to add that course and we thought it was so important was being a business, being profitable, right? Maximizing on every dollar that you can bring into your company while offering a solution to your customers and giving them the best possible experience they can get from you or from a company. The hydraulics was not just about learning about the way water moves, because that's important. We need to understand something before we can offer a solution, right? Or before we can educate our clients or be able to look at the pad and say, hey, we always look at it as a business. We need to grow by acquiring more and more company or more and more customers and more clients. Well, I need to make sure I land the next account, right? And I don't lose this customer, or I get as many people as I possibly can on my client list. And we've taught that is probably not the best way of growing your business, because if you don't build a solid foundation and you don't have a good understanding and you're not doing things correctly and you're just adding more and more customers, what you're doing is you're compounding that problem and you're just creating more crap. But if you can fine tune and build a solid foundation and maximize every single client that you have and realize that it's much more than just a monthly service fee that you're charging for maintenance or for repair or whatever they call it in the East or West Coast, where you can actually go back to the pad and say, hey, look, there's other things that can be done and we can capture that revenue and at the same time offer a better experience for them. Like, hey, look, we're looking at flow rates. We're looking at the type of filtration system you have, your plumbing. and how can we better it? And by doing this might cost you X amount this time, but it's going to save you so much money in the long run and opening up just another source of revenue for your company, because we all know that we don't maximize. We can walk in every single pad. I don't care what company you are. You even go to my pools and you'll find something that should be done or needs to be done, because we get so overwhelmed with work, or because we need to prioritize as business owners and we're light on staff, and oh my God, there's this thing, I'm going to put this off. I'm going to put this off. I'm going to put this off. I'm working on this. I'm working on this. But anyways, I was really geeked out about the hydraulics class, and I think the message came across to them and they got it, right? It wasn't just like a compliance thing. I need to know this because I should know this. It's, I need to know this, and this is how I can apply it on the backyards tomorrow and utilize that education.
Exactly what you're explaining is like my current, what we're going through is we're at that point, we're starting to get a lot of calls for maintenance and new accounts, and can you look at our pool and all this? And I'm being like extremely picky at this point. And we could be growing a lot faster, but I'm like, no, I want to solidify this foundation we have. I want to look at our existing customers. How can we improve service for them? How can we improve our efficiency? And then how can we make it easier for the techs in the field? Because when they have pools that there's certain things that need to be addressed, but we're not jumping on it and addressing it, and it just goes on, it's defeating to them. They're like, oh man, I got to go back to this pool and it's giving me problems. And I'm just sitting there and I'm analyzing, and it's like, we're at that point where we'll pick up one or two, and then we're like, okay, now, like you said, look at the bottom five. And now I'm going back and I'm like, okay, I'm going to offer them the solution, and they can either take it or leave it, but we can't continue to have this pull on route that takes longer than it should or has more problems than it should. We're going to get it fixed up how it needs to be. And then ultimately they'll be happier. But if that's not what they want, then we can no longer service the pool. So I 100% agree. And I had that conversation a lot throughout the show of like, people tend to get too focused on the volume of things. And Edgar, you always talk about everyone's mindset is how many pools do you have? How many pools do you have? And it's a reality. It's like, what's your profit percentage? That should be our focus. So
absolutely. So yeah, definitely big, huge shout out to Steve. You completely knocked it out of the park, and especially with a topic like that. And I know that you worked really hard to work on the content and be able to deliver it. But what I think was very cool, like John was saying, is a lot of the people that were in the first class completely came back for the second class. That's how engaged they were. And then it was amazing. I was talking to people about it, and people were like, I'm going back to my pad and I'm looking at the plumbing and I'm looking at this and the efficiency. And so great things out there.
I want to add too, I had some builders come up to me and they're like, we want to change our perspective on like how we build pools. How can it help the service professional? And I thought that was just super cool. They were thinking more in terms of like finishes, skim replacement, things like that, on being just conscious that there is someone that has to take care of that pool long term. How can they build a better pool so that the long-term care can be more successful?
No, you're right. And I had the same too. I had builders come up to me as well, Zach, and it was the same story. And that right there alone makes it all worth it, because that's what betters our industry. And creating that understanding that doing that one relationship at a time or one mind at a time. And imagine that builder, now every pool that he's going to be making, he's going to be looking at it with a different lens, and not just so much as like how he thinks or their company thinks that it should be done, but just understanding there's much more to just building the pool and finishing it and getting that last check. It's the upkeep of it and the serviceability of it. And I had many conversations with builders about it, saying, look, what's more important is not just the pool, but how the pool is perceived 5, 10, 15 years from now, because that pool is built and memories are made or destroyed. Good things are thought of pools, or people start hating pools because they become money pits, or they're an eyesore, or the kid got hurt, or the kid's not having fun, or it's always a mess and things like that. And then it starts to create a negative view or a positive view on that pool. And we might not feel it immediately, but this is where we get impacted 5 years, 10 years down the road. Because if your family doesn't have that pool or a great experience with it, then your kids are not probably going to have a pool when they grow up or have the chance to build one. They might be a little off put from doing it. But I'm going down a rabbit hole here, but I'm saying that's the type of stuff that really matters. And we might not see an immediate impact right now, but down the road is where it really starts to pay off.
The cost, as we become more aware, I looked at a pool the other day and there were 2 returns. And I'm like, we're going to do nothing but just fight
nightmare.
this pool. Yeah. We can't even take it on. And the more and more that people are getting educated and learning these things, at some point, it's like they're either going to get charged an arm and a leg, or they're not going to have anyone that wants to service that pool.
They're going to have to fix it. That's our goal. Our goal is really to create that education so that when pool pros are going back there, they're not going in with the mindset of, I got to pick up, but more strategically, how am I going to look at that backyard? How am I going to look at that pool? Does this make sense? And then what happens is the numbers start to click and you start to look, and it's not just always numbers, but Zach, you have employees, right? Is that going to kill the morale of that employee doing that pool? There's a lot of other factors that completely kick into that.
That's actually a really good point there, Edgar. That is a very good point. You nailed it right there on that one. Look, that's even talk about going down a rabbit hole even deeper. Exactly. We all have pools that we hate, and we eliminate more of those pools that people don't want to service, then we're going to have happier employees as well. Right? And how does that unfold? But I wanted to say this. You unleashed the monster here, Edgar, because this was unscripted. And look at Zach.
And he's killing it, right?
And look, and you're barely, we can hear Edgar down there going, I want to say something too, right? And we're talking over you.
Which, by the way, I don't know if you caught it, but I basically am over here chatting with the peeps in the chat because you two are over here going off into your rabbit holes. And so they were joking around going, nerds, stand up. And I'm standing up and you're so into your conversation, you didn't even notice it. So there was so many good classes, John, Zach. Alicia completely knocked it out of the park. So when we do the Western show, they have volunteers and they're able to come and help, right? So they do the scanning, they do the handouts, they get the little review forms so that they could get good feedback. And I had one of the guys that was sitting with me in the back of the room scanning people. And he came to me and he goes, Edgar, I have to tell you, I've been coming to this show for 10 years. 10 years. And she is one of the best instructors that I've seen teaching out here at the show. And throughout the show, throughout the 3 days, every time I bumped into him, he kept coming back to me going, just absolutely love that class. I'm going to go give a review on it, let them know at the show that she was just so amazing. We had so many people that just completely knocked it out of the park. And Steve had a great point. And that was, to Steve, one of the things was just that we were able to be in one room and everybody can continue to come back for his class, for the hydraulics. They take one, they know that they want to take two, and they know, okay, I just need to come straight back to this room. So that was huge as well. But John, Zach, Alicia just knocked it out of the park.
She's so captivating. And when the show was down here, I took the guys to one of her classes and they're like, oh, the lady from the class. Oh, the lady from the class. And they took away so much stuff. But when they went training down here, that was by far their favorite class, was the one Alicia did.
Yeah, I agree. It goes to what I was talking about earlier. When you find people that are passionate about a certain subject and they start educating on something that they're well versed in and that they understand, it comes off this way. It's not a secret. You want to start talking to me about cars or you want to talk to me about real estate, I might not be quite as interested and I don't really know much about it and I might engage, or if you ask me to do something, I can. But when we start talking about stuff that I'm very passionate about and then I have a great understanding and I feel confident delivering that information, then it makes it natural when you're up there. And that's how Alicia's been doing this for a very long time. Everybody that we have as instructors, they're pros at what they do and this is their love. And that's why we pick them. I don't know why in the past, it seems like a lot of trainings, and this isn't just the Western or the pool industry. I've been a part of many trainings in a different life as well. And it seems like in a corporate world, what they usually do is the person who draws the shortest straw or whatever gets to do the presentation as the training. And it's not so much as, okay, here's a PowerPoint and okay, you're going to do the training this week. And then they're up there just reading it. And there's really not that passion or that love behind it. And I think we were able to capture that.
The people that are passionate about it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I think that's the reason why we knocked it out the park.
Yeah, absolutely. And a big, huge shout out to everybody. I mean, Todd was amazing. Brad, Raypak. Oh my God, how engaging was
Dude, you should have seen Todd. Todd's great, right? And he's passionate, obviously, about the filtration system. And I think on the first one, I took over a lot of the class just because I couldn't shut up. So I was sitting there talking because I was really passionate about it. But you should have seen the second class that he instructed. You weren't there, but he was like in his element, dude. He was like happy. He was going, he was digging it, he was talking, and we ran out of time. And I think we barely went through a third of the content while we were teaching that class. And it was really cool watching Todd come out and just be really engaging and having fun doing it. And I think everybody that was in that class too as well felt that passion, and they were truly listening and educating themselves. So it was just badass. And then Jamie too. Oh my God. Right.
Jamie completely knocked it out of the park. She had so many go by her booth to talk to her.
Yeah, it's so cool. And talking about something goofy like enzymes and phosphates. And most people walk back there and they'll think, okay, this is a sales pitch. But it wasn't. And that was the beauty of everything.
And theirs was generic.
And that's the feedback that we got as well. And people were genuinely interested in it and understanding how it can actually help them service pools. How there's tools out there that make it easier for you to service a pool and, more importantly, make a more enjoyable swimming experience for the customers that use it.
And we didn't get a chance. I really wanted you to talk about in that class, right? But it's like everything, and we ran out of time. I really wanted you to talk about how you put it into play in your route, in your business, right? So that people could get the understanding of here's the product, here's the belief in using the product, and then here's how to put it into play on a daily basis into your business. But everybody was asking so many questions and doing all that stuff that there was like no time to even be able to get to that.
No, it was cool. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect.
Our boy, Terry Arco. Talk about passionate and going into that immediate water chemistry. What I was hoping that I would have done is we would have had it on video, because he just got into a groove and he was just rapid fire, just boom, 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 and just dropping gold.
And talk about passion. He was up there like, boom. He was like up on the hilltop preaching.
Yeah.
And I was sitting there going like, go, John Terry, go. Dude, and he had his coffee in his hand. And I don't even think he took one sip of it the whole time. But he's sitting there waving it around and the coffee splashing and spilling. And he's putting his hands down. And dude, I was like, wow, dude, I feel it. I felt like I was at like a Tony Robbins, like motivational speaking event where
it totally
empowering. Yeah. And I was like, dude, Terry, you were killing it, bro. And I'm just sitting there like in awe, just listening to him. And I'm like, this is badass. And again, we're talking about chemistry and we're talking about,
Going back to it's not pushing one thing over the other. Like, I was able to take all the classes and listen and look at my program. And it wasn't like, oh, I have to make a choice. We either need to shift gears over here or we need to shift gears over there. It was just all good, applicable information that you can take back and apply. And that's what I love. And that's how I learn. If it's, oh, you need to do this 10-step program, and over here they're like, you need to do this 8-step program, it just gets confusing to where you're like, which one's better? How do I do it? But just having the good raw information for me to be able to go, okay, this is how we're going to put it together. That's what was so awesome to me.
So Steve did the classes and he came back and then he's like, I'm going to reshoot all the videos. So Steve came out to Dallas, we shot, and Steve's got a pretty awesome setup where he's up at AquaStar, right? Because he's got like all the equipment, he's got all that. So he went back and he did a reshoot of all his content. And then right after the class, he comes back to me, guys, and he's like, with the questions that were asked, there were some great points to add into these slides. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to re-record those things and I'm going to add those questions in there and add some slides. And then I'll send you the videos and we can all upload them back into the app. And that's what you look for when you partner with people. You look for people that really want to educate the pool pros out there and help them and just be passionate about it.
Amen. And a perfect to segue off of that and talk about recapping the course and wanting to make sure that they offer the best presentation or that they provide the best information to our viewers and to the people that download the app. First, let's talk about if there's anybody out there that knows heaters, man, this dude is on point. And it's not just I know heaters and I know Raypak, and then I can tell you, I can read the textbook, or anybody can read a manual, right? And say, okay, this is that. No. But really be able to understand it. And not only that, but everything else on the pad, not just be hyper-focused or limited just on that and say, oh, and then you ask him a question about a pump or flow rate or something like that and him not be able to answer it. Since he's been a service, he had his own pool service for many, many years before he started teaching for Raypak. So he had knowledge that not just as an instructor, as an engineer that understands only that product, but he has a good understanding of the industry and what we go through every day as pool service professionals in the backyard and how to apply that to a heater. And then not just the Raypak heater, but any heater. We had slides of the JXI, Master Temps, Hayward heaters. It all applied to every single one of them. And he did just a phenomenal job breaking down the complexities of a heater. And afterwards, I remember when we were sitting in front of the hotel and he comes back and we had a conversation that night and he's talking and he's like, hey, I love the class. I love the engagement, the turnout. It was great. And I was going over and thinking about some of the things I said. And I think I might have said something or I misspoke on one thing from 300 or 3,000 parts per million. And he's like, I need to go back and I need to double check it on the app because I want to make sure everybody has the right information. Because if I misspoke, I want to make sure I clarified it. And we need to go back and do the research and then update things. Again, how engaged. And it wasn't just, okay, I'm here to just do this and I did it and that's it, but I want to continue with it and be a part of it and understand the importance of it. So kudos to Brad. And then not only that, Brad attended Steve's hydraulic class, right? And he's there firing. He got experts. He's sitting there firing away at some questions and he learned a couple things too in the class. And I learned things myself and it was just pretty cool and amazing.
I learned one thing, John, in the class.
You shouldn't talk about hydraulics?
In the hydraulics 201 and the hydraulics 201. If Steve says he's going to throw you under the bus, he's throwing you under the bus no matter what.
Oh, for sure, right?
Thanks for that, Steve.
I was sitting there. I was like, I better film this. And I pulled my phone out and I'm sitting there and then I better step and help
but
out.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that Steve needs to remember. And that is that there's always a get even part. So you threw me under the bus, Steve. I've never thrown you under the bus. So I'm bringing the train, baby. We love you, Steve, brother. We love you. Michael from First Response, big, huge shout out there to you. Corey's on here. Big shout out. Again, Leslie, thanks for jumping on. Michael, big, huge shout out to you. He's saying that he was on the edge of his seat in that hydraulics class out there. So big shout out to you, Maria. Big shout out to you. Gentlemen, let's do this. I want to talk a little bit about the Western Pool and Spa Show. We've been fired up for 45 minutes here. So let's do this. Let's take a word from our sponsors. When we come back, I want to talk a little bit more specifically about the Western Pool and Spa Show. We'll be right back.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blueray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blueray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blueray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BlueRayXL.com.
Blueray all day. AquaStar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We're talking to John. We're talking to Zach. So I want to talk about the Western Pool and Spa Show. We've been talking about all the instructors and everything that we did and just absolutely love that part right there. But I wanted to ask you guys what you liked the most about the Western show. Zach, this was your first year. John and I had experienced it last year. So let me start with you. What were your thoughts on the Western Pool and Spa Show going the first year?
You guys always talk about it's a lot of the service or maintenance, depending on what side of the country you're on, pros out there. And I definitely felt that. And it was interesting because some of the other shows, you have a broad mix of professionals and things like that. But this was a lot of the guys that are in the trenches, getting it done, trying to grow businesses. And that was a lot of fun for me because I was on my feet all day. We were all on our feet all day long to the point where my feet were hurting every day by the time we left there. But just a lot of great conversations with a lot of professionals out there that we're all in the same position. We're all trying to accomplish the same things. And I was learning a lot from the other people out there. And I want to give a big shout out to Carl. It's Pool Ninja, right? Yeah, so I was talking with Carl, we were chopping it up, and I learned a lot of good things from what he's got going on, and we were just bouncing back and forth, and that was really the experience with everyone there. So I thought it was a great show. It was much more crowded than I had anticipated. It was very busy. The floor was just packed all day long, and the education thing, not being there before, I wondered how it would go having the education before the floor, but I actually think that was a super awesome thing because you're not having to choose on missing out from one or the other. And so when you're taking the classes, you really have an opportunity to, you don't have an agenda on the floor right now. You can sit down, you can focus, you can absorb information and learn. So I thought that was really cool as well.
And I have to take my hat off to you, John. We got to give credit to Zach because he had no idea, especially when it came to the training and all that, right? He had no idea. And we just kept telling him, you'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And you know how Zach is. He needs to know that John is going to finish the sentence with the word pickle. And that's his moment to jump in. And if John doesn't say the word pickle, he freaks out. It's not my turn. Is it my turn? Is it not my turn? And I kept saying, don't worry about the PowerPoints. You'll catch the flow as to where you need to. And think about it, John. He's so freaked out about jumping in. It was just very natural. He just all of a sudden just stood up and started jumping in. And I want to say something and just flowed through. So you absolutely killed
classes, it. Give that kudos to the people in the classes because it was just conversational, right? People would just jump in and make a point or have a question or whatever. And that's really how I always joke. You go, Zach, good morning. And it doesn't lead me into anything. So I'm like, and I'm like, you have to say good morning. How are you doing? So then I'm answering a question, right? But in those classes, it was just, I was amazed at how engaged. I've taken tons of classes over the years. And it's really like you sit, you listen, you're taught, and at the end, it's like, does anyone have any questions? But doing it throughout the whole thing, it really just opened me and my thought process up. So I enjoyed it. And I even told John at one point, like, I'm having fun with this.
He came and told me that. He's like, Zach just came and told me that he was having fun with this. No kudos for you from John. Did you make him mad?
I'm just like flabbergasted that I'm the only one who's wondering why when you picked a word, you picked pickle.
Because you're the only one in the room with a dirty mind.
No,
that's why.
Dude, I'm not even talking about. What are you now? You're taking it to a whole nother level, bro. I wasn't even going there.
Again.
Wow. Look, that's a whole nother episode of us talking about your choice of words and how you came to that. But I can't go on until
all I'm going to say is feed. You need to see John's feed.
Look, wow. You're great. Look, now I know. Now it all makes sense to me. Every time I'm out and about, we're out to dinner, right? And I go out and I'll go have a cigarette. I'll go to the restroom. I come back. You put my phone down because you're sitting there talking to it. You know what I mean?
No,
that's what you're doing, bro.
That's a good idea.
That's what you're doing. That's what you're doing.
I feel like Edgar has some like underlying trauma from you, John. Like,
it's never a dull moment with him. Are you kidding me?
I'm going to let you slide on this one because usually I won't say anything until you talk and you go, hey, okay, John, what did you think? I just sit here awkwardly waiting until you say that. But
Gotcha. I forgot to say
that's
what
it was.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So, John, what do you think?
Oh, perfect. What do I not quite sure where to take this conversation right now because we're everywhere. But back to the Western show, I want to correct what you said. And people said that this is our second year. No, second year as instructors, being there, having a booth. We've been at the Western show for many, 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 many years. We go every year. And I know Edgar back in the day, back in the 30s when you were doing pools in Orange County.
Wow. Wow.
You were at the inauguration, right?
Damn.
Right? So,
inauguration.
The inauguration or whatever it's called. That
was a good one, man.
Look, in all seriousness, and I talked a little bit about it at the beginning, and I know I raved about it on the live, but it was perfect. It really was. And everything came together really, really well. The staff and everybody involved behind the scenes that makes the show happen. There is so much work that we just don't see that has to take place in order for all this to come together. And they did an amazing job this year, and they do it every year. And being in a different position or looking at it from a different lens, like I say, we get to appreciate certain things that we weren't, like an employee boss thing, right? When you're an employee and you're working somewhere and you're going about your day, there's always something you're going to bitch about. Oh, I wish this was better, or maybe this or that, or why does he do this, or why does she do that, or if they did this or if they did that. When it's from the outside looking in, it's easy to criticize, or it's easy to think that you could do it better, or just don't quite understand it. You don't know what you don't know. But when you're a part of it and you get to see the inner workings and what takes place, just like when you become a business owner and a boss, and now you're the boss and you have employees, you get that aha moments and that understanding like, oh, okay, it's a little different. It's not quite as easy as just saying, or I would have done it like this, or why don't you do it like this, or why don't you just pay me this, or why don't you pay them there? Why don't you spend money here? But being a part of the show on the other portion of it was humbling, and to see all the effort that goes into it from people that really are doing it strictly from their love and passion for the industry. And much respect to all the vendors out there, and especially the ones that are also educating and showing the end. It's a lot of work. I was having conversations with our friends across the booth at ASA, and I was saying, man, I got a lot of respect for you guys. It's tough. You get up early in the morning. You're there at like 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning to prep for it. And then you're fit and you're there all the way until 7, 8 o'clock at night, and just like nonstop. Right? They're educating, do what you need to do, talking and conversating, and then hitting the show floor and then doing the same thing over and over again. It takes mentally, it's exhausting. And if it wasn't so fun, and if we weren't having such a good time, I could see how it could become a drain on people. It's just really tough, dude, to do it. So I have a whole different perspective on shows and what's involved with it and the inner workings behind it. So I just want to say that my last point is the level of engagement from the participants there, and the mindset And just the overall attitude of everybody was just inspiring, because to have so many people there take the time off of work or spend time away from their family. We know how hard everybody works to come out there, to walk the floor, to go out there and to educate themselves and to be a part of something so they can better themselves, so they can provide better for their families. And just seeing the passion behind everybody was very inspiring. And it's the fuel that we need for us so that we can continue doing what we're doing, because everybody needs some sort of justification, or somebody, is it working? Are people listening? Are we helping? Is it worth it? Because a lot of time goes into doing this, and not just us, but everybody out there, vendors, other educators. They need some form of validation, and the validation that we need, the currency that makes us work, is the people that want to learn, right? And the people that we interact with saying, hey, look, you made a difference. If there's just one person that you meet at that show that says, hey, I listened to what you said, I was a part of your class, I listened to your podcast every single day of your lives, and I just want to thank you and appreciate you, that makes it all worth it. Every single thing that we've done and do, and we've had this conversation before, all of us, that's what drives us and motivates us. And we had multiple people come up to us, and it was very awkward and humbling at the same time, because we're a little weird like that. We're bad at taking any kind of compliment. We don't like to talk about ourselves. We more like to talk about what we love to do in the industry and the people that are part of it. But we had some very good conversations with people, and it was just inspiring, man. And it just made it all worth it. And if we had another show next week or next month, I'm ready, because it was like,
hear
wow.
that, Zach? Okay. He says he's ready.
I am. I'm ready, because look, I truly believe we as an industry are making a difference, right? We are moving in the right direction. I can truly see that now. And it's no longer that distant dream or hope that maybe one day we're going to be able to break free of these chains that we've had, or these issues that we've had to deal with, but we are actually making progress, and we're moving in the right direction. And I see it becoming a snowball effect, and more people are getting involved in educating people and understanding the importance of it, and with just a positive attitude, opposed to that guarded, old school, grumpy old pool man mentality that we've had in the past that we've been trying to break through. That's how I feel.
Zach, what about you?
Are you going to have him ask again?
Yeah.
You ask him twice?
Because you were really passionate about it, and Zach and I were talking.
You want him to one-up me?
Did you see that same passion from the pool pros? Did you see that energy?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's, like John said, that's what fuels me. And just being a part of it, like we're all like a collective. And seeing how crowded the floor was, seeing how engaging everyone, seeing that desire to learn and to better ourselves, to me, the pool boys is going to reap the benefits of that. And the other people in our area are going to reap the benefits of that. And there's more interest in getting deep and dirty into the science and getting not just chemistry, but the science of numbers and financials and running a business. And I think we're watching our industry become more professional, more business-minded, and it's across the spectrum. So to me, that's awesome, because what I want to see, and this is one of my things, I want to see pool technicians paid more. I want to see more career opportunities. I want to see businesses where you have HR professionals on staff, and you have bookkeepers, and you have marketing professionals, and we're building these companies. And I have to go back. When we started, we were very isolated. Like, we didn't have a network. We didn't have all these people. We didn't have all this exposure. So I'm sure some of this was going on elsewhere, but you're seeing it just in general now across the board. And to me, that's very exciting.
When we started, we obviously wanted to make a difference with the industry, right? We wanted to better the industry as much as we could. I'll be honest with you, I didn't think that we would see the enthusiasm that was going on through that show. There was just like this sprinkle of magic that was just going through the show, right? Because every show is the same. You have people showing products, you have people coming to look at the products, and you do one show, you do 1,000 of them. It's the same routine of what happens at a show. And I've been trying to figure out specifically what it was, but everybody's response is the same thing, is there was just something going on at that show that had people fired up, that had people excited, and just trying to figure out what it is, and us wanting to do our little piece of it to better the industry. And I'll be honest with you guys, now my mindset starts to go, how can we make our industry better than the electrical, better than the plumbing, better than all that? Do we have the opportunity to start to create that vision and go share it with the big companies, right? Not just us, the manufacturers and everybody. And how do we as an industry elevate our industry to be exactly like you're saying, Zach? Because there's an opportunity there. So mine starts to spin, and then that's when I go crazy and I start to call you guys and go, hey, I have an idea. But I was super excited, just the energy alone. I haven't seen anything like it.
I think we're all opening up more. When I used to go to the shows and I would walk the floor and I would have my backpack and my notepad, like it was me. Like I would learn about some products and learn about that, but I'm watching people just in general have conversations and relate more on some of the things they're experiencing in their business, and they're experiencing the same thing. And what are some of the things you've done and this and that? And then just friendships being built, relationships being built, like people talking about things that aren't even pool related. And you're just watching this engagement just happening everywhere on the floor. And I think social media probably has a big part of that compared to when I was walking the floor. It just doesn't feel so isolated. Like we're all in this together. We all have the same road bumps and roadblocks, and let's talk about how we overcame it.
Seeing the less, more people want, like in the past, everybody was so guarded and we talk about it, but it's true. There was a lot more people willing to share the successes, but also share the failures. And I think that's huge.
Yeah, what I was going to say, Zach, you nailed it. It was my point exactly, but I want to word it a little differently. It felt like shows before felt like you lived in your own little bubble. You're isolated, like you were saying. And when you walked into a big room of people that you didn't know, picture yourself, forget about a show, but picture yourself walking into a room full of 500 or 1,000 people, and you only know a couple people there. What do you tend to do? You feel you're a little more cautious, right? You're more observant. You're not as talkative. You're maybe seeking out the people that you do know and then finding them and having a conversation with them. But other than that, you're not really feeling as comfortable. Where I think on the flip side, imagine walking into a room full of 1,000 people that are your friends, that you feel comfortable talking to, that you interact with on a daily basis, not just in physical form, via social media and Facebook and chats and phone calls, where it truly felt like we were a family. All of us were together. And it felt like we knew each other, and we had these conversations with people, and it was like, hey, I'm talking friend to friend. And to take it a little bit further, I think as far as like the education portion of it, if you walk into a room, imagine walking into a room talking about advanced calculus or the inner workings of Pluto and the core magna or whatever. You have no idea what the hell's going on in there, and people are there. You feel like this isn't really I really don't understand. I'm not very confident on the subject, so I'm not going to engage because that's human nature. But now you walk into a room where people are talking about pools and chemistry and things that you're already very comfortable with. And now you feel much more confident because you're educated in it. You feel you want to be a part of the conversation because you feel like you have something you can contribute or an experience you can share with somebody. So I think that was more of the change in mentality there, was just like everybody felt more confident in their abilities, who they were, and they felt like they were talking with friends, and that's how people treated them. And there was no drama. Everybody was there to better themselves and to have fun, and it was really cool. Like I said, if there was another show next week, I couldn't wait to go there again because it was fun shaking hands and talking to everybody and running back and forth. I couldn't even go have a cigarette sometimes. When I went to leave, I couldn't make it past the aisle because I got stopped by so many people talking to them and having engaging, meaningful conversations. And not just people that listen to us, but other reps and manufacturers. And when you walk by booths, and even the reps were like engaging and grabbing you, talking to you. And instead of just being there and sitting there like this, feeling uncomfortable, they wanted to be there too. And they wanted to have a conversation with you. So it was awesome.
Definitely a great show for sure. Hey guys, let's do this. Let's take our final word from our sponsors. When we come back, Zach, John, I want to get your final thoughts.
The Hyper Pole from Ultimate Pool Tools is a pool care pole designed by pool professionals for pool professionals, featuring precision-crafted carbon fiber and stainless steel construction. Go to ultimatepooltools.com or Instagram at Ultimate Pool Tools. Pool pros have specific needs when it comes to general liability insurance. The SPPA program has you covered. With 3 tailored and customizable general liability options, SPPA makes it easy for pool pros to feel secure. Find out more and get covered at thesppa.com. Now available, Pool Invoice. Pool Invoice is a pool billing software created specifically for the pool service and repair industry. It's developed for our industry and only our industry. Pool Invoice is built with recurring billing in mind. You can print, email, text invoices, or even send via WhatsApp. You can add reoccurring or yearly charges, accept credits, and set up autopay. You can even see when customers have seen the invoice. It even has a customer portal where they can log in and see, print, and pay invoices. It has all your customers' information on one page, so you don't need to search through hundreds of invoices looking for the one you need. Just go to the customer profile and it's all at your fingertips. Created specifically for the pool industry, Pool Invoice. Now available at poolinvoice.com. Blueray XL is the power of minerals working for you. Reduce your overall chemical costs and labor up to 50% guaranteed. Whether you have 20 accounts or 20,000, Blueray XL's direct pricing and free shipping to the pool trade have you covered. Improving pool professionals' profit and work-life balance is what they do. Blueray XL, the real mineral purifier. Visit them at BlueRayXL.com.
Blueray all day.
AquaStar's new pipeline cartridge filters, available in 2 sizes, deliver top-notch hydraulic efficiency along with best-in-class filtration performance, approaching that of DE filters. Uniquely designed, open pleat spacing means 100% of the media square footage is usable. And these claims are backed by NSF test results. Designed with the pro's time and comfort in mind, the patented double locking system improves safety and ease of access, making filter cleaners faster than ever before. Available now. Ask your supplier for pipeline filters today.
Natural Chemistry, a leader in specialty water care solutions for over 30 years, is proud to provide products that make pool service easier than ever before. Its unique enzyme formulations in Pro Series Pro Blend improve efficiency of your pool program while reducing frequency of filter cleaning and scum lines. Natural Chemistry is also well known for its wide variety of phosphate removal solutions that include a non-clouding formula in Phos-Free and extremely high-range removal with Pro Series Phos Remove or Phos Free Max. Save time, save money, save work with Pro Series products. Stop sacrificing durability or efficiency with the help of Raypak's new Avia HD models that utilize NITEC, their exclusive industry-first technology. NITEC heat exchanger technology is Raypak's latest solution to superior strength and maximum efficiency when it comes to residential pool heating. With 900% more nickel compared to copper nickel in critical surfaces, NITEC creates an ideal surface to protect against scale formation and erosion without compromising on Avia's 84% thermal efficiency. Learn more at raypak.com/NITEC.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Pool Nation Live podcast. We are talking to Mr. Zacharias. We're talking to John. We're talking about the Western Pool and Spa Show. And gentlemen, let me get your final thoughts, Zach, so that you don't feel like I threw you for a loop and threw you under the bus. Let me get your final thoughts.
Well, I feel like I really channeled my inner John today.
You did.
It went all right.
It went awesome. Are you kidding me?
All right.
Yeah. Just don't get used to it.
Yeah, let's ease into this a little bit. But
next week, no script whatsoever, not even during the show.
Hey, that's an idea. That might go in a lot of different directions, though. So you got to keep the bumpers up a little bit. But I had a really good time at the Western. I was really impressed with the turnout, and I'm excited. Like, I came back fired up. I'm motivated, not just for Pool Nation things and industry things, but for the Pool Boys things. I see a lot of improvements we can make. We have a lot of opportunities to become much better than we are currently. And to me, that's exciting. I'm ready for this year and to get at it. And I want to thank everyone that stopped by the booth or in the classes or in the hall or whatever and just had words of encouragement and support, because John was saying, I know Edgar feels the same way. That really motivates us to keep on this path and keep going. And it's nice to get a little bit of feedback and see what is resonating and also what we can do better or what other things we can work on. And then the last thing I want to say is I just want to encourage everyone to download the app, take a look at it. I've talked to several people that I'm like, hey, you got to check out the app. And they're like, yeah, okay, when I get to it. And then once they actually look at it, they're like, holy crap, this thing is awesome. And I do truly feel and believe that this is going to be a great tool for a lot of people out there. There's a lot of great information on it. So even if you're a little skeptical, just take a minute, look at it, see what you think.
Absolutely. And we want to thank everybody that's downloaded the app. And we're almost at 1,000 downloads already with all the pool pros out there jumping on. And we appreciate all the support. John, final thoughts?
You nailed it, brother.
He's just like...
This was perfect. And I enjoyed this a lot more because I think maybe it was because Edgar didn't get to talk as much. And I enjoyed Edgar trying to butt in, trying to interrupt us having a conversation. I think that was the highlight of the podcast for me. I think next podcast, Edgar is going to send you a script. Make sure you get it a week in advance or something like that so you have time to prep for it, because I think Edgar's feeling a little left out because we stole the show on this one.
I think I'm going to have to create a dashboard on the podcast thing that shows a graphic of who speaks the most so that we can keep track of that.
We know where that's going to land.
Put artificial intelligence in there to mute the mics.
But my final thoughts is I've already expressed my thoughts on the show. It was wonderful. When is the next show? Where are we going to next? I know we have the international coming down in November, but I think there's a couple other shows prior to that maybe we should explore going to, because I'm pumped up.
Yeah, I think the next one is the Pie Show in September.
Pie Show.
Yeah, and then November. And then you go, I think, Atlantic City. And then after Atlantic City, I think it's the Southeast. And then right after the Southeast is the Florida show. And then back into the Western.
Yeah, we're going to be at a lot more shows this year. And I'm looking forward to it. Yeah. So that's it. I'm done.
All right. Well, I appreciate everybody jumping in. Got a great week this week. We have Brad coming into town for a podcast, talking to Brad with Raypak. And then on Friday, we also have Kathy coming up from Canada. Looking forward to that podcast right there. So it'll be a little bit of a crazy week, but stay tuned. We will stream live the podcast on Wednesday morning. That'll be the one with Brad. And then we'll also stream live with Kathy on Friday. So we got a full week, boys. John's looking at me like,
we're going live on Wednesday? I thought we were not going live.
Oh no, we're going live. This is Brad. Are you kidding me? Like, Brad could drop it.
Got it. I'll be there.
Like,
that was his option. Did you see his face? It went like that, almost like processing for just a second. And then now he's got it recorded. And he's like, okay, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
Anyways. All right, gentlemen. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks for listening. We will catch you next week. Have a great one. Have a great weekend, guys. Bye.
See you guys.
Later.
Thanks for listening to the Pool Nation podcast, a member of the Pool Nation family. You can listen to us live every Friday here at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, and 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. You can find us at Pool Nation or poolnationpodcast.com, on Facebook, or on Instagram at pool.nation. And to find more info about Pool Invoice, the billing software built specifically for the pool industry, go to poolinvoice.com. Before you go, this is what the pool industry has been waiting for. PoolmanUniversity.com. It's the first platform dedicated to learning the swimming pool service and repair industry. A pool service community where you can connect and find videos on business, service, water chemistry, and repairs. See you there at PoolmanUniversity.com.